Hey guys, it's Target. Welcome back to China. We're playing Total War 3 Kingdoms 190 Expanded. It's a mouthful and a great mod for a great game. We're here with the Yellow Turbans, Gong. We're the Emperor, right? Where's China at? Here it is. As we see, we've also vassalized Ma Teng somewhat recently. Now, that won't last forever, but we don't need it to last forever. He's going to provide quite a good buffer against the Yuan family up in this direction, and we are cutting them in half here, and then once we move in here, you know, we'll probably roll up the top way here, avoiding Liu Bei entirely. Now we can do, like, proper, regular vassal agreements with people, so we've got a couple over in Korea that won't last too long, but then, as we said, the Kingdom of Liang as well, and Dongmin is our vassal, and Yongfeng. You know, we've got a few under the umbrella. They're paying us a bit, but really, it's just doesn't seem like there's much left to the campaign. Indeed, you know, all over but the shouting. Truly.
这是看在咱们捧，真是鼓舞人心。这对我们都有利，真是鼓舞人心。
Because with the Emperor's seat under us, and the dramatic power that we have over the folk, because now even we can't get Protectors of Heaven, until we're level 8, but the Zealots of the Way are available at level 2, and these guys are crazy good for level 2, and he's so cromulent.
放他们回家去吧。
But yeah, the big guy Yuan Shao is already dead. He crossed the river one too many times, which was one time at me. He messed up bad. He miscalculated. You want to calculate. You never want to miscalculate. And there's a whole lot of peace going on there. Also, good evening. Simplicity when scattered becomes the vessel of usefulness. The holy man, by using it, becomes the chief leader. And truly, a great principle will never do harm. Humility. What we want to do here is reflect how very sad these big bonuses are at the end, because they only work. You can only do them when you're, like, almost at the top level, and as soon as you become an emperor, then they don't work anymore. But I guess, depending on what you're doing in the campaign, if you're quite far from an emperor's seat, they are really good if you're not the emperor. Even for your attacks, we may want to stall. Not stall. We'll just run through it, After all, if we just get a ton of places, build more tech, then we can just hit and turn 15 times. Alright, what do we want to get? Armor. I mean, the Caltrops and Smokescreen, if I would use them, would be amazing. I honestly don't think this corruption reduction happens, but maybe it does. Well, military power is the most important thing to us at this point, right? Because all the other stuff is fine. We could just take... Yeah, here we go. Movement range. There, that's what we want. The movement range. He's, he's trying to have a time, but what we're gonna do is... It's like, what? He could go over here and maybe try to hit Luoyang. If he does, we just... Yeah, go ahead and get in this direction. Like, we need a blue-green guy. Are they all busy? You can't sort them by these buttons. Like, it's gotta... there. You gotta just wing it. I guess they're all busy. No, they're right here. They're right here. What do I mean they're all busy? Alright, one horseback huntsman will work a treat. And then he can, yeah, you
此
know,
地百
let's,
姓聚集，最适合在此开市贸易。
let's just go ahead and get it, right? And then a couple of reclaimers, and now this army's got teeth. We'll just get a couple yellow cav, and now they'll be able to deal with, I mean, basically everything that there is. Good stuff. We don't really need these purple guys at all. Zealots of the Way are better. Back to China, indeed, LAS. Took a nice long nap, and then hung out with the dog and watched silly little videos on the internet for a while. But now it's back to China.
大义将临，莫敢不从。
Although, you know, we haven't quite won yet, but
让他们死得体面一些。
this might be a classic Total War thing where no, I'm like, now that we have Imperious presence, though, we gotta fight a little bit with it. I mean, it's so good. I never get to use it. But I was thinking of like, maybe we'll just do a Cao Cao campaign, right? That could be fun. And I'll even try to spy. I know, it sounds like a lie when I say it. But I wanna, you know, I wanna get the value here at some point. And then we'll go in here and besiege this already. Because really at this point, you know, it's like a deep campaign always gets. He's out macroed. He's considerably out macroed. And moreover, he's in a terrible, terrible spot. He's got probably 4 armies over here where they can't do anything for so long. And his only real saving grace is that my friend here isn't too tough. And Liu Bei, you know, for all that they keep on churning out these terrible armies, you know, is a bit of a stumbling block there. If we were trying to entirely cross there. Speaking of, do we just push across the river here? It's like we need to... Yeah, we just need more crossbows, because the crossbows can actually deal with the things that we'll be encountering. And then, yeah, I guess we'll just run for it here, because I don't think he's got the spades, right? You know, I bet he doesn't have it. And if they want to run at us here, oh, they can't actually. Yeah, that's kind of far down the road. Yeah, get wrecked, guys. And then we'll just spin up another army here because we're incredibly wealthy, and that's the sort of thing that you can do. We're not actually that rich, right? Not in the grand scheme of things. But we're making so much money that we can just get more armies, because our armies are all really good, too. And this army, you know, we're just gonna siege train it, right? That's what we're gonna do. Alright, just vanguards here. Get a fair amount of them. This army will probably never see action. Look how affordable it is. 200 to recruit a zealot of the way, and 58 a turn for the payment for him. Just so good. Anyway, when you declare yourself the faction leader, you get to pick between 3 sets of bonuses. The clearly correct one is for you to be like, I'll be the emperor. Actually, 25% retinue upkeep reduction, 2 starting rank for recruits, and 10 more morale, which gives, you know, the humblest of your units a ton of morale, and the best of your units so stinking much that they'll never financially recover from your morale. We need this army spun up, don't we? Yes, we do. This one really just needs to defend over here, theoretically, so we don't need to worry about it too much. That's true, actually your favorite bonus, yes. And nowhere is it better illustrated than right here.
诸位猛士，随我征战。
三思而后行。
Even though hard space the game was fun. It's true. More auto-resolve, less actually playing the game, yeah. But it does put you into a position to bring more multiple armies to fights, giving you really huge, cool fights where, you know, otherwise I might be playing more cagey. But yeah. I will say that, you know, the position, because the temple is just such an attractive bonus that not getting it really would crimp your entire campaign. I mean, 100% there. Did we get a Liu Bei bug, or is it gonna go through? We'll see. Looks like we got a Liu Bei bug. We'll just load the autosave. It could happen to anyone. Liu bug, as they call it. Yes.
此战若是千言日久，
Liu
难免落个两败俱伤。若延误战机，
I'm always saying it wrong. I can't help it.
则我军前功尽弃，万事皆
I just sit around and practice and try to practice names, and I'm like, Shahodun, and my dog probably thinks that's what a command is now. And I'm like, no, Shahodun, don't listen to me. And then he just looks up at me like I was never going to listen to you anyway.
准备行动。
All right. Classic Liu Bei field, indeed. He's like, well, I'm not finished talking yet. In the, my favorite in the Lives of Plutarch, Timoleon, who I'm always talking about, there's a sequence there where Timoleon needs to get his ships by another set of ships, right? And there's this town that's like a neutral town that they're at, and he's like, and the town hates the Syracuse Dionysius faction, the Carthage faction, right? And likes Timoleon, so they're going along with it, and they're like, well, you know, they invite the other party to the peace talks there. They're like, well, you know, we're in this town, so we should be respectful of their wishes, you know. And the Carthage aligned things are like, all right, okay. So, like, Timoleon's faction, they go and they talk for, like, a while. They just go on and on and on. And then, you know, everybody's bored. And then it's the other faction's turn to try to convince the town, right? And then while they're doing it, Timoleon and his dudes just, like, bounce and get in their ships and run their blockade while the townspeople are pretending that they're, like, trying to figure out what they're going to do in this situation. And they turn around, they're like, hey, wait, where'd they go? Yes. Carthago delenda est. Certum sincero.
我已准备好作战了。
Now, down to 8k there. We do just need to build a few buildings here or there. Here we run to support Cao Cao because, like, we are. The thing about strategically now is because I've played on this little side of the map a fair amount, I have, like, a pretty okay idea of how annoying I'm being with these moves. Because, like, now I'm like, oh, it takes 4 turns to go from over there to get to over here. He's probably trying, but you know, we've got good movement, we've got good replenishment, and really it's just like, you know, on a macro level, when we can afford these siege engines, we can move twice as fast as they can, you know, and they've been live around there about 6% of the time. You're very comfortable with Black Mountains, yeah. I keep on thinking, I'm like, well, let's play something that's over here, and I'm like, I just like living over here. It's good stuff. You are the spider and go past you. Nice, yeah. You know, and just with Night Battle and some stuff in the past, and two, like the replenishment bonus you get from having even just a medium level pass for spinning up new armies in the early game, I think it's pretty awesome. I really like the passes in this now. And what we want to do is hit the mine. Yeah. Because he spent like a lot of time and money taking this stuff over just for a few years, right? And now look at it. You know, it's just sad. Just sad thinking of how he tried to do such a good job. Hey, look, this guy's called Yuan Shu. Now, this isn't the actual Yuan Shu, of course, because we happen to know that he's still an emperor over here. Not like the actual Zhu Chu, who's here with the actual Cao Cao. The Imperial Chancellor! It doesn't stop being funny. We're not going to stop saying it. No, speaking of, we can finally mod his army up a little bit, right? He's level 6. He can't get the siege weapons for reasons, but he can get... No, not the red cav either. Well, we can just get... He can get the Imperial stuff when he gets there. Spear Guard aren't bad, but are sort of like just totally deprecated by everything else we've got going on. I don't hate having actual crossbows, but really they're not as good as some of our other stuff could be either. You can just get a poison sword for the blob fight. I do like the poison sword idea. Because poison arrows, I think, are honestly not nearly as good as this. Because one poison sword in your infantry blob, or like maybe 2 of them, you know, for the wings, I actually think that's great fun. Because poison in this game is quite a serious debuff. And when you don't friendly fire it, you know, really, really good. And what he's going to do is try to run home, I guess. I mean, you know, sure, buddy.
身心再度融为一体。正在航行。
We're just gonna like bolt across in winter because I'm not afraid of anybody. Lubu's just chilling. Can we get you to get vassalized yet? I mean, it's probably pretty close. Yeah, you know, we could give you pay. Oh no, you have to take Pengsheng first. I was watching this video about all the wars that took place over there. Notice this is worth the FK, but certainly not true in the base game. 500 per turn is half an army for the commerce bonuses that don't work, and the garrison that doesn't see combat. Yeah, the gate passes indeed. You know, it was too expensive, and not the only good thing about them is if you were at war, they couldn't walk through unless they just besieged it and walked through. But now, you know, with the reserve thing, they're just very nice. They're very nice to have. You know, if you just gave me 3K and family estates and a gate pass, I mean, that's what our Lubu campaign was. Well, and Lubu, but I didn't really use Lubu that well most of the time.
定筹壮志，拿起武器。大义将临，莫敢不从。
That Imperial garrison, yes, it's lovely. Of course, our Imperial garrisons aren't quite as good as Imperial garrisons, but they're still very good. And I bet... the Defenders of Earth, the explosive damage archer dudes, I bet they get crazy value in a siege, so...
正在行军。安营扎寨。
登峰而视，群山漠然。
Like, these fools don't know that we had our whole last campaign to daydream about the siegecraft of cracking in north of the Yellow River. And I have determined that this is probably the way to do it, right? You push across the water here, which is so far away from here that they probably can't really get to it unless, you know, you get your vision there. And then you roll up here and take the farmland, and then you run over this way and do whatever you want to do on this front, and then you use that to pierce in through the top. I think that's dramatically better than trying to, like, run in here at Pingyuan, where there's so much that can go wrong, right? Because, well, you could also properly scout it. So you figured I'd build that armor sooner or later. So you never did it with the prince himself. You know, that campaign had its own tempo problem. The thing with the pure siege stuff too is I feel like I can only do that if there's another army along. In that campaign, I always felt so broke. Well, you know, till the end. You never feel broke at the end. Yeah, you know, the shoestrings are all strung together. And it's not that we don't have a lot of armies. We have 11 of them, but, you know, it is a pretty big area. And we've got, you know, 2 here, 3 here. Yeah, I also, you know, in the Prince campaign, I hadn't, like, embraced how much I liked the multiple bolt crossbows yet, you know? We didn't really give him a great shot or anything. The Udrang's declared war against us. Crazy. Because in this campaign, we used one very early on for the siege of Puyong, and that's the only reason we won. And then, you know, we got to just, you know, lean more into that as, like, an idea. And then I'm like, man, I really, really like this unit. We get a grand fishing port constructed and get an achievement for it. So cool. I didn't even know I was building one of those. Oh, it was this one here. Got it. Yep, and then this is the move, right? Because you can cross there, and then you'll be able to march from that side. So your guy at this pass is always going to be able to support your incursion on this side, or almost always. And that's how to crack the river. You know, you need 2 armies here and here, ideally. I mean 4. Yes, the unstoppable Yellow Turban sees the very heart of China. The Han crumbles. Yeah, I mean, couldn't have put it better myself. We win the challenge, and that's the last of those missions. They're like, look, y'all did great. We've got 12 12 commanderies under us, and of course, well, our mandate is not really too much to distribute. Although the population is relatively low, you know, we do need more people, yeah. 20 grand is so much monies, right? We're just gonna randomly build stuff everywhere. And by randomly, I mean, you know, judiciously, carefully, thoughtfully. Just go Imperial City here, because nothing matters. Yeah, there's our 20 grand sprint.
Oh,
they ran out of military supplies. Position is there. Well, you know, we can jump to the pass. Oh boy. Well, let's not. 'Tis a silly place. And they can go here, get more supplies. Well, there's the new emperor, right? The unfavored son of the emperor. But you know, in this timeline, he was the favorite one after all. And it's like, and unfortunately, there's not even anybody here to make the army worth being cool for. But you know, we're not gonna stop at that. We're just gonna keep on rolling up. It's a level 5 port as the Yellow Turbans. It's not a yellow 5 port for anything. But no, I would always go food over money because I always do that. Yuan Tan pulled himself with bootstraps, worked hard and earned his nepotism. Indeed, you know. Look, when that's how it works, what are you gonna do? I mean, it's literally just how it works. But now that we see, like, all of these armies are over here, so we very well might be... Yeah, we're gonna bypass on ping there. This is gonna be so funny if we just roll on up while, well, the thing is, too, is it's nice, because we'll wait in the pass here with Yudun, because, you know, Cao Cao and Zhu Chu, you know, we might get a chance for them to have a little party before it's all said and done. And Guan Yu has crossed over here, and looks like he might have won that fight and made them march away, but, you know, he won't win again. Computer behavior after fights is sometimes very funny. Gong Zan, you know, he's having a time. It's like, oh, you want peace with us? Oh, we'll have peace. Yeah, it doesn't value your punishment nearly enough. Yeah. You know, it's just like, oh, well, the next thing I want to do is be over here. Like, they march so much in situations to get them popped. But, hey, you know, what are you going to do? It is, after all, a game. And a game where the personalities of generals, you know, there's a lot of it you could write off for that guy isn't very wise. What do we have here? Playing as Yellow Turban faction, build a concealed fort. So, yeah, there's a... Ooh, what? Well, I guess it's not the kingdom of Zhong anymore. Yuan Shu has fallen. And there's a new empress in town, the Lady Wu, the Empress Wu Li. Well, we'll be on our way over there before too long. How historical. Yeah, you know, it's happening in 207, about 10 years after, but, you know, good stuff. Good stuff. You never know what'll happen, right? We sow our camping tents. We have to force those people to move. Sorry, those people. You just take the experience, because, you know, experience is the thing that feels the coolest for the longest. And if these guys are going to... Insight's so good, too. Because it's research rate, but it also is 8% range block chance for your own army. And a few of those does make quite a big difference, right? Night battle? Yeah, but we want them to... besiege it. We want them to walk into it. Because this army is still a little beat up, and I would like to be fresh. Because we could just pick them apart and auto-resolve, but this is the Emperor of their faction, and it may well be the last fight that they get before we just take their Emperor's seat, right? So I figured the bigger we can make it, the better. And the reserves are low. I'm like, why don't we just get this one and not think about it anymore then? Because otherwise we could just roll in here and night battle pick them apart entirely, but... We love our pay. yes indeed, Luke. We love our peasants here at Yellow Corp. Give them real equipment now that it's 207. Couldn't agree more. You know, you gotta do it. I was like, I almost thought these weren't good, but these are militia virtue, you know, they're very virtuous. This is kind of fine, but... You know, I hardly love archer defectors, but... Well, bringers of righteousness, that's the thing that we can get instead. They're basically exactly the same. Except they shoot slower. It'll be fine. This army's fine. Some crummy little archers are fine. I tried the hunter. I did not try the hunter. I thought that because they're like exclusively poison damage, right? I thought the Venerable Wu, I like that better because they won't, you know, poison at range is fine, but we actually get access to that through a lot of the trees. So if we want it on like skirmishers or on a single unit, we already sort of have poison arrows. And I just, I thought the friendly fire possibilities were too high. It wasn't that they were too expensive. I was like, we'll just use the purple guy when we can get them if we need one, and then multi-bolt crossbows if they're not too expensive. But what we want to do here is roll up this way And I'm like, you know, the Emperor...
国安民。为了天下苍生。
Emperor Gongdu can make it to the party too, maybe. There already is snipe. Yeah, fair enough. They do have like the map-wide thing for spotting. You told me that, and then I forgot it. But we are going to just roll up right here.
迅速出击，击垮敌军。
正在行进，冲啊！
But
淹没敌
you
军。
know, if you move fast, they can't keep up with it. And
敌无良谋
honestly, I mean,
须臾可破
in future campaigns, depending on, you know, how crunchy they're being or whatever, even with the siege weapons, I feel like... Alright, what happened here? Ah, they automatically put on some armor when they leveled up.
我等信念如一，这便是上
That's
天
just
的
a
恩
funny
赐。
thing that happens. They can wear it, but then they look like a captain retinue, right? Although for some cases, I mean, you would get a
真
huge
撞来后
benefit from it,
枝
but
叶繁茂，
I know it's a bug.
立马行动，连结奉公。
You know, spend the turn on the siege equipment, even if you have a trebuchet or a thing, just to keep you from doing what we're doing here, because at least if you siege them and you give a turn, they have armies that'll be able to move sort of in the direction of that place for the next place that you go, you know. Spend a year going from here to here rather than 2 seasons going from here to here. But I hardly need to artificially restrict myself, given that I restrict myself easily enough on purpose. No, because here, taking this pass right, I'm so proud of our strategic. No fun around only winning exactly, you know. But for a future campaign, it will totally be good. Or you know, like if we man, we're doing too well as Dong Zhuo, you know, we need to spend a little bit more time. Yeah, alright, y'all want to go? Because here, actually, if we retreat... I mean, having this battle is fine, right? But if we retreat, now he's through the pass and can't get out. Perfection. You know, they tried to scale it and run through, but, you know, we'll see how that's going to work out for him here. Oh yeah, that is a relative. You should join the Yellow Turbans, buddy. We've totally embraced giving people jobs that they haven't quite earned, and we'll bring the selling of titles back. Don't worry. I got plans for a hat. And after all, doesn't Huangdi really mean Yellow Emperor? I have no idea if it does. But like Huang means yellow some of the time, right? We're gonna ignore Zhurong's thing there. Yeah, so now... Oh, it's gonna be sweet. Xiao Yuan is gonna show up to like if they help us in this fight, that's gonna be awesome. They don't. It's fine. Crucially, though, we're gonna get to have the fight. Would have empowered someone blocking the court. Like, oh, I don't know. The UX. After all, they could be trusted, right? Because they wouldn't have anybody that they would inherit, and you would, you know, the leader could really lean on them and not have to worry that they were gonna, you know, lead to corrupt, positions being sold or whatever, because nepotism's going to be a problem, and you're going to need people you can trust. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. We should think about that. We, of course, did find a wife, and she's a rebel officer, but she's a fortune teller as well, so we'll probably be able to start looking into some omens and maybe trying to figure out, what's going on there. That'll be smart. Boom, 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 boom. So you can build the things for your captain retinue cheapness. Well, now...
好的，请讲。
Yes. After all, we've been pals for a while, buddy. Work for me. I don't care if everybody hates the idea.
这很合理。当我傻是吧？
Look, he just wants to hold on. And look, he's learned from Cao Cao. Cao Cao threw him with us and now is the Prime Minister of the Yellow Turban Empire, right? He knows that he's been pals with us basically the whole time. We haven't really... I mean, besides that war at the very, very beginning, which was a mistake,
你我所见略同。
算是谈妥了。算是谈妥了。
He wants to live.
如你所愿。我方。
And this is why you keep on playing. Hilarious.
有话快说。目标只有一个。
But yes, good stuff, and then we'll just...
廉洁奉公，忍受苦难。
至柔如水，以应万变。
Get these people, because somebody needs to be here. And then we're just gonna sit them here for an extended period of time. Really, this is just to, make Ma Teng think that he shouldn't try anything too clever. Alright, we paused time before him, and that's why the parents is limited with a couple of ownership limited only to really rich. Yeah, I mean, that's true, I mean, a person's perfectly capable of paying their taxes of 50% of what they get, but I mean... And while we're at it, this sort of spiritual Taoist movement, I mean, how much do the people really understand about what's going on there? Do we really need to stay married to these ideas? After all, there's plenty of other competing schools of thought that might be slightly more useful for the administration of our nascent kingdom.
发动农民。
Have you ever tried to recreate every problem in the world at one time?
开战。
Did it go well?
力求上进，功名震天。怒吼吧！释放怒火吧！前进！杀呀！
We'll give him one turn. We'll give him one turn to get here. Liberate the people. Because, I mean, I guess, 12k a turn isn't that much. It's just that a mid-tier army does get us a whole lot of money. And speaking of a whole lot, let us engage. Yeah, we're bringing everybody to this party, right? Well, if we bring this party, actually, then somebody gets left out. Yeah, so we'll run in here. Boom. Cao Cao and Zhu Chu will be here to start, and then the army of the Emperor, and then Yidun, which this is like the backup army the whole time, right? So they'll be happy to show up as well. Against the Lady Liu, the heir of the faction and the mother of the Emperor. Yuan Shao is hanging out. I mean, after all, he wouldn't have anything to be upset about, right? He doesn't, you know, Yuan Tan is the one who's supposed to be this faction leader anyway. Cao and Min, you valiant kinsman, you should have joined up with the Yellow Turban Rebellion. Alright, he's got the sequencer. And we know Zhu Rong has the Tiger Cleaver, which is super good. Zhu Rong, and then Han Zhong has Bloodfest, which, you know, that's this, we got that in some campaign and barely used it. So plenty of gold weapons to go around, right? Plenty of heat. And Lady Liu has the empty lunch pail. You know, her husband used to carry that lunch pail. But this is going to be awesome. Cao Cao is going to be able to pulse to victory. Good things about Confucianism? Yeah, me too, right? And while we're at it, I mean, yellow, I mean, sure, it looks nice, but... They are cloaked in anonymity. Our Zhu Chu yellow turban guy says, they are cloaked in anonymity. Be careful. Long I've waited this. Yeah, Zhu Rong, I bet you have. You know you did, buddy. You lost a duel to Lady Liu. Alright, so this battlefield is... Alright, so we're gonna be having a time, right? Reinforcements from there or there, and then they've got their main army here. I'm like, his model there, I'm like, it's a very white head. And here's the forces of the King of Song, right? You know, they've got some good stuff, but we'll see. We'll see how much they can hold up. Yellow Beast Red, as we all know. But now the war's running down, fires a strong element, PC. Yeah, and I mean, the sky, I mean, sure, it looked pretty yellow for a while, but it's sort of blue. What we want to do is back up this way. Whoever comes in here, you know, we'll go here, and then, yeah, we just need to... This army, blessedly, doesn't have, like, anything... to defend. Alright, and Gong Du is over here, which means his trebs and stuff will be over here, which is a little annoying. But it isn't that bad, because we can just put them, like, right here. But everybody else in Gongdu's army is faster than this part is, so... And if these reinforcements aren't going to come out because, yeah, they're getting more from over there, well, we'll be just fine. I mean, we're going to be fine anyway, right? So it's hot nothing, right? We usually never die to foreign states, but well, and I mean, we did take Luyong and Chang'an, and the Han River is right there. All right, there we go. But of course, this is like as bad as it can be for Cao and Min. But crucially, of course, and this is one of those times where the deployment makes perfect sense. This was an army that did get caught out. You know, he came through the gate pass. They got the horses. They put some grappling hooks on them, and the horses just climbed up the wall. They leaned back a little bit. It was very, very useful. Warriors of Yuan here, and they are, you know, they're about to have a rude awakening. And then we're gonna go knowledge of the mind here, and then keep running away here. Brutal. The righteous vanguards are actually okay at fighting, right? And it's the AP split is what it is, right? They effectively lose half of their charge bonus against crucial targets because they're 50-50. They would probably be better if they had no base damage as shock cavalry, but that's just the way of the world. Speaking of the way of the world, Cao and Min is falling right here. Cao having a time. You know, we really shouldn't leave the siege weapons totally undefended, because there's somebody over here still. I have no idea where they are, though. Zhongnu Cav over here. We need to go and pop them. I'm like, we're gonna see our foes soon, I'm sure. And Cao Cao shows up to inspire the troops. He's such an inspiring guy. And the Zhongnu Cataphract shatter. All joking aside, this sort of thing happens famously. Indeed, you know. I honestly think, like, maybe some of the reasons I get confused about periods in Chinese history is because 18 dynasties are called Wei, and 18 dynasties are called Liang. And sometimes there's 4 of them at one time. They're like, oh no. You want the Eastern Liang? Like, oh no, you want the Southern Liang. I'm Southeast, see, and you want that. It's easy to mistake. But this will be like, and this crucially because of the way the reinforcements come out, right? You know, they'll still have some coming out over here at some point. But this is terrible for them because their armies are very far flung, and sure, ours are a little bit, but you know, losing a bit of a stack and then your cav at the beginning is terrible. And they have Zhongnu cavalry, so they cannot have a long fight. They're going to get so beat up. And basically they're gonna have to have a long fight. They're not gonna be able to get away with not having one. And we'll set up the artillery over here. And once we get there, we'll figure out what we're doing next. Alright, we're never gonna catch those archers. It says they're slower than us, but... You know, we're just really trying to catch them, though. I'm gonna let those guys keep chasing them. I'm not gonna stop. And the generals, you know, walk out here into the... And there's the 10 minutes. Get wrecked. And that is how it's done, right? Because if y'all want to wait, you can wait. Your cavalry are like, wait. We're Xiongnu. This is... We're actually in a good spot to run off into these mountains and not all die here today. Why don't we just do that? So they did. Usually this is how scheme can't destroy the Huns. The next thing make the well, you look, and he got himself promoted incredibly high immediately. He was like, look, if y'all are gonna do this, I'm just saying, I've got some skills with administrations. I know people. Y'all are already like, look, can I interest you in some fine hats? We lost the archers, guys. We need to keep some of these in the back to, fight against them. I'm like, yeah, there we go. I'm like, I'm sure as we start to move forward, so too will they. And the Xiongnu Noble Cavalry are one stiff wind away from running away forever. I'm like, no, let's keep on going for here. I bet we make it. Hey, we found the archers again. Good news, guys. Go get them. Alright, let's send them some help, right? They're just burning down the forest and we're just running through it. Bum, 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 bum. They're being super annoying, but I mean, in their defense, this is looking like the last hurrah for them, and most of their cavalry all ran. And these guys are gonna run before too long. But I guess maybe the ones who weren't on the field at the start have a different counter for it, which is fair. I'm like, oh my goodness, are they gonna get here and hit the siege weapons? Lose my mind. Well, there we go. There's the cavalry on them, what we should have done about a year ago. Alright, time to slow it up. Protect the Emperor! Anybody want to duel Zhu Chu? It's probably a little bit easier for you to deal with than he used to be. I'm like, come on, let's, been jockeying for position a while now here. How can we get him to go? Like, I would like to... I mean, I guess we can just move everything forward, right? And yet, okay, so in doing that, I just obliterated what we had going on here. But, you know, fortunately, I'm an idiot. It's fine. It'll be fine. It's not like this setup was good in the first place. Look, moving troops is complicated, okay? Cao Cao and Gong Du just surveying the situation, you know, being brave. Being brave. Oh no, Cao Cao! You need to turn. No! No! Oh! He shot him down! This dude's got Gong Du's bow, and, no, somebody has Gong Du's bow. It's Yuan Tan who does, yeah. And he just murdered Cao Cao! No! And with that, they're like, alright. Their great strategist is down. Commander, but you know who's counting. How could this have happened to me? And you know, with this is actually kind of cinematic perfection for a Three Kingdoms run, right? Where your general overextends and gets murdered, and then you know they bravely charge down into everyone. Oh, Zhurong's about to have a bad... Oh, no, speaking of a bad time, Zhu Chu gets surrounded and mauled. He might die. I think he dies here. Yeah, we got distracted and he gets beat on with by a gold weapon. If he recovers, though, he'll be fine. We've got heals for him. But their whole attempted cav flank on this side is, you know, not working at all. It almost worked. They almost got on top of the archers, but they didn't, like, actually at all get on top of them. Alright, and Zhu Chu got all better. And this healer can go down and give him a heal. You know, if Cao Cao was here, we'd be able to heal twice as much. Be able to do a cap charge from the Holy Spears. Yeah, I know, I love it so much. Because, you know, having worse cavalry than your opponent is only a problem if it's a problem. Man, that Gan Ning bow. It's funny we had it for that whole Yu Biao campaign and just, like, basically didn't use Gan Ning. I just didn't, like, wait long enough for the ability to click. And because he didn't have mighty knockback. But, you know. But as we knew we would, we just demolished the frontier. The Emperor, as long as he can call himself that. And then we're gonna run in here and crouch the back line. We're gonna hit him with a 1-2 knowledge of the mind, buckle their shoes. Because when you're in a blob like this and you get the knowledge of the mind, you can get, like, all 3 of the dudes with the negative morale, but we didn't. It was just one. It's okay. Often, making one person run will make the other ones run. And our, you know, our siege weapons do very bad. Oh yeah, look where we have them. They're, and we didn't give him any target selection. It's fine. The thing about, like, a battle like this, where we had to move up to get them to fight and whatnot, is that's always going to make me bad with siege weapons. Siege weapons are, you know, they're their own tricky animal. Because they're very hard to maneuver. And they're very easy for the enemy to kill. And they make me incredibly sad if I lose them. I'm like, oh no, now people will think I don't love siege weapons because I'm so bad at using them. But these Xiongnu, they're about to run to courage here in another couple minutes. I think these came out at like 24 minutes, but you know, this will be the last stand of Song. We're gonna take their imperial city after this, and I imagine they will sue for peace. Static, fragile, and expensive, exactly. I mean, you compare it to, like, the Zealots of the Way, who, even without reduction, you know, you can get, like, 2 of them for artillery piece. Because, like, 1 artillery piece is amazing. 6 is vulnerable, you know. Here we have 3, and honestly, if they were just all spears, we would have just walked up and had a much more engaging fight, you know. But, you know, I love my multi-bolt crossbows. It's just, if it's like this battlefield where they force you to give battle in an awkward way, or rather where things got awkward, we could have, you know, tried some other elements instead of just moving forward and getting Cao Cao shot down immediately. But, so I think for a killer though, like Zhu Chu, for that, you drop them, disorient, mobilize. Yeah, I think actually for a sniping move, this thing is better than we were giving it credit for this whole game, right? 10 seconds is a long time, and you can just roll in with your crew, get off your horse, and beat them down. Yeah, that was awesome. Indeed, it was really just that I wanted to have his cool reduction going on the whole time, but I mean, how many times would we actually use our abilities anyway? But yes, it is better that it happened to him than Gong Du anyway, because, you know, Gong Du's the Emperor. If something were to happen to him, we would have to find the closest relative. I mean, how are we doing succession again? Well, Zhong Kai is still the heir, so Alright, they're all leaving.
敌军四散而逃，到底是无胆鼠辈。准备就绪。
And we'll need to roll up this way and come back here. You're challenging Zhu Chu to a duel very well, I accept. It's not the real Zhu Chu, but I bet he wins this.
我必将取胜。
We can go and give him a heal anyway, but I like, well, this guy, I mean, the huge armor piercing of this maybe won't matter, but you know, we do swing 30 times, we've got tranquility, you know, we have no evasion, we might die. But there we go. The heal gives him the strength to press on, because all we need is him to use his excellent beatdown animations and hit him. This dude doesn't have a lot of evasion, right? So, yeah, there we go. Our superior philosophy shows itself in Hanfu. Dodges, but you know, it's about sending a message. And once we win a duel, you know, we'll send a message to all of our troops that the great Zhu Chu is every bit as good as we had hoped. Yuan Shao getting beat down a fair bit here. He's fighting spears. He probably got charge reflected on him. Hit him knowledge of the mind, and then we'll get a heal here. Still, you know, 200 kills on the it's not bad, it just isn't inspiring. And yes, these guys are inspiring. The Zealots of the Way with Reclaimer backing, and they just beat down Yuan Shao, who has terrible weapons. And you know, the best thing you can say about his choices there is that they do make him seem brave. I love spears. These are like good spears, right? Well, Protectors of Heaven are great spears. Glaives. Dudes. I'm like, if this guy is gonna keep on interrupting us, Zhu Shao, you were a good guy. You know, you were one of the smart ones, right? One of the two good ones. But not this time. Should have joined the turbans. Oh man, well, actually I forgot all about the reinforcements from this angle. It'll be fine, of course. Since they will, you know, well, we'll deal with it. Speaking of, no, you still withdraw, please. These guys are probably just gonna get killed, but hey, what are you gonna do, right? Love it. Better than the Zhu Chu, indeed. Because getting Cao Cao is, like, amazing and all, but Su Chu's got his hammer. If we had used him right, we could have really made an influence there. But, I mean, Su Chu knocked the Emperor down, you know, so... And those guys were, you know, they were trying to get into position, but then we will... Just in time, you know, they tried to get it on the flank, and then right on time, the Protectors of Heaven get there, and then with a mighty rear charge on the Defenders of Hebei, they'll be going down. And speaking of that, we need to get over here. I can know they're army lossing now. Yes, they are army lossing now. Get wrecked, buddies. And, you know, adequate. We're seeing how good these Zealots of the Way can be, right? If we just had a full army of them and pushed, I'm sure it would be excellent. Just a time to not be a drop, right? You know, we waited it was 10 minutes before we even fought, like, all the jockeying for position. Of course, that did have the effect of making them lose, I think, like 4 cavalry units, you know, to the time, which is fine. Yeah, a draw. We'll call it a draw.
定筹壮志，拿起武器，释放怒火吧！
Gong can reinforce because we've got good reinforcing range. This guy's got plenty of movement.
消灭敌军。 万民之声不可小觑。
Sorry, being Hong, I would have preferred to get either of the other 2 guys for their sick weapons, but Su Chu levels up and gets night battles, although really having Cao Cao in command. Oh, he was in command, only he got knocked down. I'm like, wasn't he? Yes, he was. Well, then we took one that isn't that important, but it's fine.
淹没他们。胜利源于悉心谋划，留着他们不过是浪费物资。正在行军，
护国讨贼，下旨于
Yes, a
地，
draw, where we
上
roll
财
up
于天
all。of their forces in the aftermath. A Pyrrhic victory.
吾等
some
大
some
义
Pyrrhic.
必将降临此城。
为天下苍生，正在行进。
Of course, they do have a few things over there, but hardly enough to matter. We were going to give them a turn here, yeah.
有话快说。
But actually, I mean, they don't have anything here.
实在令人
Do we really give him a turn to get it? We'll just give him a turn to maybe bring something to fight, you know? Give them a chance to surrender. We do not steal any of the cool weapons, more's the pity.
力求上进，功名震天。
智慧如流水。
But yeah, there you go. A glorious victory over the forces of their emperor. Although we were not able to pop him or capture him there, you know, he still knew he had a fight. And here, I think they are just slightly too far away to even make contact, which is brutal, right? You know, it's we know it's a long walk there, and then, you know, by the time they get here, our huge replan will already be working again. Hard knock life, buddy.
有必要吗？
Like, did I declare war on you? Is probably the Yuan Shu thing.
我军必胜。
势如狂澜。
All right. Everything's coming up roses. A draw, indeed. The way we could have picked them apart with a night battle. I'm like, let's do it. No, not really. If it were early in the campaign, I would, and I would win, because that is a bunch of trash. And I've got like a couple Yellow Turban Spears with 60 morale and some Reclaimers. Oh yeah. Against some strategist junk. Yeah.
你对我方颇具威胁。
Teng's declared war on us. How could you, buddy? Yuan Shu's gonna be pretty happy to hear that. Our vassal, Yuan Shu. Look, he saw the way the wind was blowing. And to be fair, if he carved himself out a little vassal kingdom there, there's plenty of opportunities for him to get shenanigans going on under the incredible naivete that the Yellow Turban Empire is basing itself. It's like, what if we just did everything that the Han did, but didn't do it wrong? I bet it's not intrinsic to their structure. I mean, what would that even look like?
莫要急躁。
莫要急躁。
出发！伏兵准备，
冲啊！安营扎寨。
发动农民。
曹孟德必将扫清六合。
Samengdo, yes. He said his name.
立马行动。
Gongdu's leaving all of them behind to go see what's going on this front.
奋力一
And what's
战。
going on is we're just going to take the auto here, because of course we are. I mean, for all that it would be fun to bring all of our artillery and shoot it, and it would be fun. I mean, there's no one else there. What are you going to do?
吾等大义。
The Kingdom of Song no longer an emperor. We have captured another emperor's seat. Which I think, yeah, we don't get... Other factions you get, when you have like the second seat, you get a few more bonuses, but I think we don't, which is fine, you know. Because we get the Ascension faction leader thing, which is a far greater bonus than other people get when they get it. Most people, they become emperor, they have to deal with like bad things, but it's all gravy for us. Except whether we lose our cool, unique rank things, but, you know, get what you get.
那就快点吧。
And then, you know, we immediately vassalize them.
你我已达成共识。
我方同意。
我方接受你的提议。
Like, look, y'all can keep some of this stuff. You know, this isn't a roleplay campaign, right? Because and really this isn't a practical campaign either, because this represents Song having rather too much and in awkward places for me. I mean, it's not so bad because these are awkward places for them too. We could just set up at like Gu Pass, right? And then from there use one army to sort of project all around here, and then just leave one army here.
非暴虐诸侯之天下。 今日此胜，乃承天之恩泽。
But we're just going to
为了曹孟德的天下，
大人亲临，士气大振，
心怀志略，
you know
明智的决定。静候，
廉洁奉公，稍事休息。
move him up there, and now of course, you know, we can't imagine that this is going to stick together for too long, but it could hold out for a
拿起
bit.
武器，
And this army's got trebuchets and everything else, but you know, for all we know,
杀！为了天下大义，振作起来！
now we'll roll down over on
汇
this
报一
side
下，
next turn and
我
get
们
it.
在的时候都发生了些什么？
And then we'll just drop the leader's army, and then we'll go march on the Lady Wu,
大人
right?
召我，荣幸之至。
大人有何吩咐？廉洁奉公，忍受苦难。
This is the greatest army I've ever built.
“锐不可当”，为了天下大义，杀！协力出击。
That one still has peasants in it.
准备远征，向前推进。
A valiant defeat. Oh, I made a mistake. It's fine. I don't care. I just
路径明晰。
what I needed to do is go to bed because it's like 12:30. It's fine. This army's just gonna die. What are you gonna do?
以备不时之需。
Pretend I care about it? No. It might not actually, because you know Yuan Shu is right here.
枯叶凋零，心法萌生。
Maybe this hat doesn't show up on this sometimes. Anyway, it'll be fine. I'm not gonna worry about it too much.
志如流水。 在此安营。
出发，准备宿营。
But I think we're just gonna go for a bushwhack and a win, right? And for all I know, we would have won that fight. But we're just trying to move it along, you know. It's late.
撤退。
We could just declare a victory in this campaign without actually winning it. But, you know, going through the form of it's fun, too. And actually, maybe these losses will help our buddy Yuan Shu get his work done.
撤退。
No, that Emperor seat is so close to me compared to where a typical Wu Emperor seat would be, but of course they didn't earn it. And Song confederates the Yubei, you know, good for them. And confederates Han Shang, you know, he's, even though he's not the Emperor, he still has the ability to do Emperor stuff, right? Because being a king is what gives you the confederate ability. Guan Yunping, my girl.
力求上进。
We're just chilling there. We're not really worrying about any of this. And then next turn they'll be able to come out here. We'll just
智略所指，我之所在。
此为苍生黎民之天下，非暴虐诸侯之天下。
千层波浪，召集众人，有要事商议。
recruit some zealots of the way here. So what campaign should we play next? I actually am giving a lot of thought to Cao Cao. I think it could be a lot of fun. I like playing over in this area. I think it's super interesting. And although, like, the density... You want me to increase the difficulty? We're getting to the end, man. Give me a break.
Kai 战！快去！缜密谋划，方可取胜。放了吧，无法为我军所用。拿起武器！正义
Because
必
there's
胜！
also
我等
the
应设
Yu's
宴庆贺
faction。to play. And then, you know, because I was thinking of playing like a non-traditional one after this, but I feel like this is a good non-traditional, you know, non-Han campaign. It'll be fun to do one again, because I was thinking of doing Wuhan, because I really like their units, and a bunch of their heroes I think are super cool, but
团结一致。
廉洁奉公，忍受苦难。
like the third person would have been a healer, right? Oh, she's got the gallants of the people.
三思而后行。
Gallants of the people are... Well, they're worse than stalwart spears are. You know, well, I mean, no, it's not fair. Stalwart spears have a lot higher armor. The gallants Star Wars shells have better shields, but yeah, these, yeah, we'll keep them. Why not? Not least because there's like one more fight to happen in the whole campaign. Why not? Indeed. Why not? Indeed.
为天下苍生，
我绝不动摇。
No, they can get a Venerable Wu thing. Like, I don't need this cav. And I don't either. Because I think we just roll down, take it, and then get the victory is what will happen. Unless our web of vassalage breaks immediately, but I imagine it'll hold on for a bit, you know, since we're still winning and we've got armies at their borders and stuff, you know. I don't think they normally would break a vassal treaty within, like, you know, 5 turns. And in any case, even if they did, we would just beat them up again, but we're sort of relying on their reserve count to put us over the top for our overall count, but Shihong, suspicious.
坚持不懈。
Yeah, because we are so stinking close to them, but we'll well, if we move here.
向前进军。
Oh yeah, still get plenty.
定国安民。前进。此计难行。 你我言和，才能停止流血。
Kuto's like,
才能治
oh,
太平。
I've made a mistake. The Lady Wu will defend her Emperor's seat.
释放怒火吧，为了天下苍生。
It's just got a single stat garrison.
拿起武器。正在行进。
Well, you know.
正在行进。
杀呀！
We can't quick save here.
一统天下。
Well, time for the final battle of the campaign.
怒吼吧！
It'll be a typical siege, but hey, it'll be a fun time to show the yellow turban magic once we get into the walls, right? Little victory romp. So what do we learn about the yellow turban faction? You need to get Toulousian. You need to get the city because that 100% to your tech, that's everything. It's everything you want to be. It's everything in the world. So once you have that, your defense is much more practical.
方援兵抵达，准备就绪。右方敌军，加快步伐。加快速度。顽强不屈，快速前进，快点！
Oh no, the crossbow's turning.
射手听命，抓紧，发射，在，给我射击。
We're just gonna take that wall.
中途准备就绪，加快速度，万箭齐发，万箭齐发，万箭齐发。
I'm gonna crack a wall here and
给我射！
this gatehouse. Should be able to drop the shots here on the multi-boat. It'll be running before too long. It doesn't take too much, right? Some fire arrows, and you know, you do have to be able to shoot them with something that's not gonna run away, though. Oh yeah, speaking of the gates, I happen to know a guy who's real good at a gate. An inspiration, they call him. 'Oh, look at all that. That's gonna be nice.
加快速度，挺住，鼓起勇气，快跑，加快步伐。马兵准备，
Bum 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 bum.
准备就绪，速速前进，加快脚步，顽强不屈，加快步伐，前天卫军，赶快，赶快！我军已攻破城墙，杀进城去。瞄准，挺住，放，顽强不屈。
And now it's time to open this gate like I thought we were going to do with Gong Du when we started. We're still going to charge the tower, or the wall, because it's a sick move. No, not with everybody, though.
准备就绪，快点！
And he hits it once, and twice. It's like 20% per hit, yeah, so it only needs like 5 hits to go down. It's a lot better than a regular one.
准备好了，瞄准，向前路线。
And then, you know, we just want to get the Watchman of Peace getting in at the crossbows here.
准备就绪，开始登城，做好准备。万箭齐发，在。
The Lady Wu is running in on some zealots, which is a crazy move for her. It's never going to work. And our men are streaming up the wall, which is not a great move for them, but it will work. Because for every one of us that isn't doing the smart moves... Oh yeah, there's all of us. Let's go.
准备就绪，跑步，跑起来！十分刚毅，片甲不留，加快脚步。
And Cao Cao rolls up and gives the sword to Lady Wu. Slashes her down once, twice, 3 times, so Lady Wu falls.
做好准备，护国
Now
讨
it's
贼。
time to drop the base here. Condemn, Binding Fury, resolved.
准备就绪，
Hit him with everything. That's all you need to know. Oh, we have no support here, do we? Well, you know, I bet we'll be fine.
做好准备。
Yeah, I'm like, we've got all the guys on the wall. What do I mean, no support? Now, some of our guys going in here didn't work at all because they're just getting shot by towers, which I think is honestly most of the damage we're taking.
准备就绪，惩治敌军，面甲不留，顽强不屈，使劲杀！感受大地的愤怒
But
吧！
a glorious victory for the finale, you know, where you get to see just how good a bunch of 100 morale zealots of the way are. Are they unbreakable? No, they just have 100 morale. Cao Cao's got 120 morale, but he's not unbreakable. No, I think he is unbreakable, actually.
我们已经占领敌军哨楼，
Maybe he got it from traits. I'm like, I thought Trust of God gave it. Maybe that's in the base
时机已至，
game.
不要留情。
But the Zealots of the Way are Zealotine, and Shuhe gets defeated, which makes Gongdu and Zhongkai flip out. Zhongkai, of course, with his very excellent G of Heavenly Mandate. After all, just makes sense that we would take over the Han Empire with a Heavenly Mandate.
胜利近在咫尺，赶快，赶快！时机已至，进攻！
Like, oh yeah, the healers.
加快步伐，赶快！顽强不屈，
But really, it's just this Imperious Presence. I can't wait to play a campaign where I have access to that the whole time. Because I'll use some of my abilities properly.
左讨雷，
And I like plenty of people in Wei.
杀光敌军！准备开战，快快快！
And of course, we'll get to play our boy Zhu Chu.
准备开战，扑灭敌军！准备就绪，杀！
Speaking of, I'm like, let's,
跑起来！冲啊！
Suli here, you know, he's trying to run into our glaives, but then Su Chu runs up behind him. 1, 2, hit him again, hit him again.
一将受首，一众
Don't take too much to get it done, huh?
时机已至，
注意，不要留情，准备就绪，加快脚步，进攻，拼命，准备开战，杀呀！加快脚步，片甲不留，挺住，进军，鼓起勇气。
But there we have it.
加速前进，
I thought this was going to be a war against Yuan Shu, but, you know, we get this one instead, where, you know,
前进，
it often seems that there's only really one true rival in the Three Kingdoms period, but it's all in how you play it, you know.
顽强不屈，
If you beeline for somebody, they may not be able to defend themselves, you know. Lady Wu didn't know we were coming. She should have known when she took over for Yuan Shu that, you know, there can only be one Highlander, but she didn't know.
砍断他们，尽情厮杀！
I'm gonna learn.
赶快，赶快！
Like, I don't even know where we go to take that one. It's fine. Because his pulse doesn't hit him, but it's everybody else. Yeah.
杀！
加快速度，进攻，杀光敌军！
不要留情，杀光敌军！感受大地的愤怒吧！速速前进，准备就绪，做好排练，向前进军，逃兵准备。
And then the Xiongnu kick. You know, that's the thing about the northern tribes. I love me a Zhanbei headhunter, but you gotta win or we be winning after 10 minutes. Or they're like, nah, I'm good.
十分刚毅，速速前进！
敌军四散而逃，到底是无胆鼠辈。
What we need to do is have, like, cycle charging on the Imperial Gate Guards, because they'll fight for a super long time. But even just on foot, you know, coming in and hitting them from the flank. You know, from behind they're not getting their evasion. And then boom, you know, the fire's there, we hit them. That's enough to get tons of work in.
挺住，诛灭敌军！快跑！
敌军仓皇逃窜，一群懦夫。
准备开战！不要留情，感受大地的愤怒吧！片甲不留。
And Zheng Kai just runs up and says, I'm gonna fight a unit of Imperial Gate Guards. Don't try to stop me. Don't you dare try to stop me. I am the heir to the Han. I mean, to, you know, the Yellow Sky. Yeah, the Slayer of Tyrants. That's me.
不要留情！
Victory is ours.
下之于地，上参于天。让他们死得体面一些。
The Kingdom of Wu is no longer emperor. The empire dissolves, and I win. And I win?
朕与你有什么好说的？
为了天下苍生，为天下黎民，释放怒火吧！
Well, I mean, there's still stuff to do. What happened to the...
回归原状。
I guess we already became the Yellow Sky Emperor, which for Yellow Turbans, that is winning, right? You, Did they really not get a screen? Or maybe we just don't have enough counties. Yeah, because we... Yeah, maybe our... I mean, seems like it could be 95, but maybe it just isn't quite, right?
"朋友，别来无恙。为求生存，不得不想。
你我所见略同。
准了。如此，真叫人满意。
真令人愉悦。
But, because I mean, in my... We could play longer, but I mean, it's already... Oh, the Han Empire wants peace, you know. And we vassalize the Han.
我方接受你的提议。
Classic. What do they even have left?
我方同意。
Could have been like a rebellion thing, right?
你我已达成共识。
甚是。
Oh, he did it. Look at this. Oh, he totally did it. This guy did what I dreamed of doing. and took the Yellow Turban Rebellion down there. Amazing.
"你这贼人想要怎样？"
今天咱们好好谈谈。
But, yeah, I mean, I guess, like, it's 95. I don't want to count them all up, but, like, I just felt like
朋友，别来无恙。
we should have had it.
怒吼吧，杀呀！今日此胜，乃承天之恩泽。吾等大义必将降临此城。
But, you know...
众将听令！又是你这厮！我方接受你的提议。
Alright, the demand people submit to your cause is a whole different button than create vassal, I
我方
think.
同意。欢迎，请进。又是你这厮！
The looter is doing amazing up here, right? That's what you want to see as a Yellow Turban. They're just getting deleted.
请进，朋友。
But yeah, you know, we could play longer, but the game didn't say we won, but we won.
与我等并肩作战吧。任务完成。
快撤！
Because while there are elements, it's like, oh, we could fight more up here and continue against Lady Wu until there's peace there. I mean, these are elements that could be fine, but fundamentally our armies are good enough, and I feel like we've, you know, played with the Yellow Turban units enough to have given the campaign a great time and had a super good time with it, you know. We even brought Cao Cao onto the field like twice.
看这个，达成一致，收获颇丰。
Now the borders aren't very pretty,
出
but
自本心，能达成一致，真是再和谐不过了。
he lived long enough to see the Yellow Turbans take over.
杀！拿起武器！
Because honestly, the war with Wu rather could be like, I mean, a little bit fun, you know. We could juxtaposition across the river, but you know, their emperor's seat is already here, so the wind's a little bit out of it. But really, it's that you know, I feel like we took this campaign as far as it needed to go and had a great time. And whenever I boot up the game again, I feel like it'll be fun to start on over. Oh look, Yuan Shu has some land over here. He probably just took it. But yeah, you know, we because diplomacy-wise, you know, if you ignore that they don't like us very much, this represents a huge cut here. And then Huangzu, who, you know, did very well for himself in this playthrough, the best I've ever seen him do. You know, I guess if you antagonize Cao Cao, you never know what'll happen. Boom, boom, boom. But we'll see. We'll see what we do later. For right now, the Yellow Turbans reign supreme, that's what we're calling it. A campaign victory, although the game didn't see fit to award it to us. Because, you know, we've got the seats, we've got the lands. Where's the statistics? Yeah, you know, the champion duelist, Gong Du won 2 duels, you know. And Yellow Turbans are actually really good at dueling, but... yeah, you know, we've got... you know, we made it work with less money than ever, and when you look at the battles, right, 58k soldiers lost, 132k soldiers killed. Even multiplying by 10 like we normally do for this, like, this is not that bloody of a conquest of China, right? We importantly, we're able to, you know, turtle up to spend some years getting, you know, getting our units to defend and spending plenty of time and money on our garrisons, and we never needed to really use them, but that's the point of having a strong army, right? And the last vestige of the Han Empire is up here. Guoxia, Kong Sundu the Warlike, and Wang Yun, the 7-star statesman, all still alive, hanging out up here. What a funny little campaign, right? But all good things must come to an end. We totally might play Yellow Turbans again someday. I loved this. I had a great time. And honestly, I can't see myself wanting to start the campaign a different way, unless it's just to make it difficult. Because I don't know how we would survive staying over here. And it's clear that you can survive to go over here to Pengcheng, and it's clear that taking this place is totally functional. So maybe we'll see what the future holds, but I don't know who we'll play next time. I really don't. Could be Cao Cao, could be Liu Bei, could be Wu, right? We could play some minor faction here in the south. There's a few that have piqued my interest. And might like target like a migration over here, just, you know, for fun and profit. But we'll see. But for right now, I'm declaring victory over the foes. You know, there's still some reforms to do, but that can all wait. Everything can wait. We have ascended. The Yellow Sky Mandate is in our capable hands, and no one else is standing up to it. 2 years for our first grade, 3 after that, 2 for the next one, 6, and then 1 year to go from Ascended to Enlightened. You really get a bunch of
力求上进，
prestige through some
功名震
casual
天。
effects here. And, you know, we saw some of the greatness that Yellow Turban buildings had to offer. I really liked this campaign. I will say that in general, just because it's the Yellow Turbans, it's a lot less like personality and role-playing possibilities. Story-wise for the campaign, it is what it is. You know, you're the Yellow Turbans. You can't really try to make friends with a bunch of other people. It doesn't really work like that. You know, you can't confederate Liu Bei. You know, but it's a different way to play, and you know, different units, and had a great time. You know, the peasants reign, the yellow sky. You know, currently over it, but I'm sure that it will fall to corruption before too long. But that's okay, you know. It'll be alright. A capital at Chang'an, a capital here at Hefei, and a capital here in Zhongshan, which is not like a awesome place for the capital here. But, you know. Because capital, like, over here is great because it defends from the northern side, but although if I was going to do a capital in this area, I would probably just do like Zhendu, right? Because it's right in the middle of everything, and then you can have your, like, I'm going to defend this place, and then you can probably get down here to Henei in like a turn. But maybe doing it here in Wei, that would be the way to do it then, because it's far enough from the river to where it would take them a couple of turns to get in, and you'd be able to get a defending force over in these directions quicker. One force there, one at the pass or something, but yeah, you know. Maybe we'll play Yuan Shao. I mean, we won't. He's fine, his faction's cool. I love his units, but we just won't play him, because if I was going to play somebody that starts over here, I'd be playing the Liu Bei. But that will do it for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. The glory of the yellow sky is upon us. 25 millions living in our commanderies, and all is well. Well, that'll do for now. I'll be around tomorrow, and maybe I'll see you guys then. Good night, everyone. Good night, Luke. Good night, Ellie. Good night, everyone. And yeah, we'll see you in a later stream or video, and we'll figure out who's going to take over China next. I can't wait. See you guys.